Hey everybody, Maria Davis here with Totality Films, and I am just doing some random chat today with my good friend Chris Tinard, who is the owner and operator of OrangeScreen Productions and the creator and director of the AZDroneFest. How you doing, Chris?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, like I previously mentioned, before anybody else got on here to take a look, this is just totally candid, open conversation. But I do want to start with Orange Screen Productions. So, Chris, why don't you let us all in on what Orange Screen Productions is all about?
Yeah, so that's my full production company that I started back in 2004. That's how old I am. And OrangeScreen Production is a full house production company. We do post production and post production, and we do everything. Some TV commercials, documentaries. We've done music videos in the past, a long time ago when I started, and really the core of our business is corporate marketing pieces. And so that's kind of like my bread and butter of what I do on every single day.
So, why Orange Screen?
Yeah, so people ask me that all the time, which is awesome. That was not kind of like the goal of creating a name where people would ask you, but it turned out that way. And I actually hired a friend of mine as a designer to come up with the logo and the name. And he designed this logo that I thought was super cool, but the name that he had just didn't work. And so I tried to figure out how to keep the logo. And the logo was kind of like a weird orange shape screen. And I just started playing with a bunch of name and I couldn't come up with anything. And eventually I was like, you know what, it's an orange screen and that's just what it is. And so I called it that. It sticked, and now everybody asks me about it, which I think is a great conversation starter.
It is. It really is because you hear blue screen, green screen, but I mean you never hear orange screen.
Yeah, I
So
actually was thinking like maybe my next green screen, I should show up with an orange screen and just do it that way.
yeah,
Just for
that would be that would be fun for sure. So what got you into filmmaking? What started all of it?
Well, I wish I had like some amazing story of like how creative I am, but the reality is I used to be a PE teacher and I quit on the spot one day just because I was tired of really dealing with parents and their kids. I was fine with the kids, I just wasn't fine with the parents anymore. And at the time, my wife was, I believe, pregnant with our first son, and I was the only breadwinner in the family, and I needed like a job like that day, and so I really had no idea what to do. And a friend of mine was a court reporter, and she just came over and she's like, "Hey, we're using guys to videotape deposition with attorneys, and it pays really well, and I can get you started right away." And for me, I was like, I knew nothing about it, and I'm like, you know what, great, let's go. And it was also a great excuse to buy some cool equipment. So I took a second mortgage, bought $30,000 worth of equipment within like 15 minutes, and I had no idea what it did. And then I just went to work and tried to figure it out. So yeah, that's how I got started.
You refinanced with your wife pregnant for
Yeah,
30,000 worth of equipment?
yeah. And I
Wow.
actually didn't even know what to buy. I was like, okay, so I've got the money, let's go. And then it was just kind of figure it out. Okay, I need a camera. I have no idea what kind of camera to get. So I kind of just started talking to a bunch of different people in the industry and figure out what they were using. And I just kind of went to town and went to work right away. And then slowly my business shifted away from legal video into then what I do now, which is more creative stuff.
Well, that you definitely picked the right thing then. I mean, because it's worked out for you. I mean, it has worked
It
out
did.
so well.
Yeah, I
Wow. Okay.
appreciate it. Now,
So
I mean, as a kid, I had some stuff, right? Like I had an 8 millimeter camcorder, like the first 8 millimeter digital stuff, and I played with that. I'd edit on VHS when I was a kid, and then I also bought the first graphic cards for a computer where we could import like 30-second of video footage into those old computers and try to lay some graphics on top of it. So I was probably about 14, 15 years old when we started playing with that stuff. So it was always kind of in me, but I never thought about it as far as a career.
well, you do good at it. I've actually myself, I've learned so much from you.
Thank you.
I mean, just camera settings, if anything. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's totally been my weakness with filming. It's just for me, it's like I just want to go get the shot and just make it, as cool as possible. But I've always had on the back, it's like, well, you really should, think about learning camera settings and to make this look better. So I mean, you helped me more than I learned in college. So
Yeah. I mean, like the reality is I was the same way, right? Like you just start and you just go figure it out. But then you get to a point where your creativity is limited by your knowledge. And so then it's important for you to really start educating yourself, learning why is it that I'm stuck here? How is it that I cannot get the shot that I have in my head? And so then it's just, for me, it was years and years and years of experience, years of failure, years of kind of like, I think I get it, I'm not sure, and then trying things, and then finally, unfortunately, it literally took 10 years to finally like click, and you're like, okay, I get this, and so today I really consider myself. It's kind of funny, like I always said I never want to be a DP, but that's totally what I am.
yeah, it's cinematographer. You label.
Yeah,
I know you labeled yourself as a cinematographer, but I mean,
yeah.
you even watched with my stuff, Chris. You watched where I started out there with the drone flying and everything to kind of what I'm doing now that I actually have a real drone. So, the expansion with that for me, it really is. It's because of you. First of all, your encouragement and just telling me these tips and tricks and everything. So, I mean, that level of knowledge and skill and professionalism that you have is very clear and evident, even for me on a personal level. So, I mean, I could just imagine how you are across the spectrum when you do your jobs and everything like that, either through OrangeScreen Productions or whatever else you're working on, just how much more everybody else gets to experience from
Yeah,
you.
I think I think it comes out of, again, like I spent 10 years kind of figuring it out, and I wish I had somebody who would have helped me. And I had some, but I really felt like a lot of my learning was through failures. And I feel like if people can help pass on knowledge, they can kind of shrink that time frame. So whatever I can share to somebody who's starting, maybe they don't need 10 years to figure it out. Maybe they'll need 6 years, 5 years, whatever it is. But I think that's also how this industry is. It's all about us sharing, our knowledge with each other. And so I absolutely love it. I love to be able to share kind of what I've learned in the past to new cinematographers.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I told you. I said I learned more from you in an hour than I did in an entire semester of college.
That's really sad. And I totally get it. Like, unfortunately, I'm involved with the film school at Grand Canyon University, and I just spent about a year working with a group there to revamp their curriculum, and I feel the same way of like, oh my gosh, like we want to do all those things, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure what those students are actually going to walk out with, like what kind of knowledge they're going to walk out with. And at the end of the day, cinematography is all about problem solving. And so there's nothing better than experience. There's nothing better than being on set and figure out all the issues and how to solve them.
I think a lot of it also boils down to the passion for the craft. I mean, you can have the best advice and the best information given to you. If your heart is not in it, if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to retain it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot has to do with that as well. Now,
Yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's the same everywhere, right? Like if
Yeah.
you can do an average job on anything, if you don't have the heart for it, it's just that's what it's going to be. It's going to be an average job.
Hmm. Now, you're from France.
I am.
And how did you get here?
No, I really came in as an exchange student in high school. Uh, Back then I was playing basketball at a pretty high level in Europe. And I actually made the French national team at 16 years old, signed my first professional contract at 16. And
Wow.
my eyes were on playing college basketball in the US. I wanted to come out here and play. And in my mind, it was like Duke or North Carolina, right? Like those are the two big schools. I was like, I need to play for one of those two. And so the only way for me to do that was to come in as an exchange student. I came in as a senior in high school to try to get a scholarship, and I ended up with a scholarship at Montana State University, which is very far from in so many ways from Duke and
Mhm.
North Carolina. But I continued my college career at Montana State and ended up staying, meeting my wife, and that's it. Never left.
So at 16, you signed a professional
Yeah,
deal at
yeah,
16.
yeah.
Wow.
It was awesome.
You must
Yeah.
have been really good at basketball.
Yeah, no, I was. And so that was super fun. And it was like all your dreams as a kid coming true. I was playing against guys that were 25, 26, 28 years old. I had no business being on the court, but and I would only play like the last 2 minutes of the game, when we were getting blown out or something. But I was guarding guys that I had posters of in my room or whatever. So it was pretty crazy. It was cool.
That is totally a 16-year-old's dream come true there.
Yeah.
Talk about living the dream. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, man.
I had a very unique childhood for sure. I left my parents' house at 16, moved into a house with 8 other players. They were all 20, 22-year-olds, and got to travel all over the country to play professional basketball with those guys. So that was really fun.
Wow. That's awesome. That is so cool. And it's way cool. Actually, I did not know that. That's way cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's skip over to the Drone Fest here. Why did you do it? Why did you decide to do a Drone Fest? To create it?
Yeah. So I think it was this year will be our 4th year as a festival. But the reality is it started about 2 years prior to that, where I first saw the New York Drone Film Festival, and I had never heard of a drone film festival. I was flying drones, for work, but I had never seen a drone film festival. And so I entered the New York Drone Film Festival, was completely not in that same skill set. They were having some amazing films, and I just didn't get nominated or anything. But I just thought it was the coolest thing, and I just didn't understand why there wasn't more drone film festival around the country. And so I just had a great relationship with the local DJI store here in Scottsdale, and decided to talk to them and figure out, hey, is that something you guys would be interested in doing? And they kind of told me yes, like, yeah, that'd be great. And then 6 months later, I was like, let's go. And we made it happen somehow. And I have no idea how. We had nothing. We still have nothing, but we had no money, no anything. And we pulled this festival, and it was awesome. And so, yeah, this year will be our 4th festival. And what I didn't realize at the time is I'm creating a film festival, but I can't enter my own stuff in there. That would be kind of weird to enter my own work into my own festival. So I still have to enter stuff once in a while in other festival versus mine.
Yeah, but you see, being the owner, basically the director of the AZDroneFest, you get to do something that is very, very special. So besides not being able to enter your own work in it, you get to personally award somebody a very, very special award.
Yeah,
the director's choice.
That's right. Yeah, that was a complete selfish move. And it's kind of funny. I always say we, because now we have a board of directors and whatever. But back then, it was just me doing whatever it is I wanted to do, and I had set up I think 8 or 9 different categories. And I was just like, yeah, let's see who enters and what happens. And then you came along, and I saw some of your work on Instagram, and it kind of blew my mind as far as like your ability to do some shots manually that looked to me like it was done, in autopilot. So I thought it was amazing. But you enter your work into the festival, but it wasn't quite there yet. Like, you were working with some really old equipment, and the quality of your work just wasn't quite at the level of some of the other work that we had in the festival.
Mm-hmm.
But it's at that moment I felt like, what, like, we need to come up with something to really encourage the local pilots and the local talent, because that was the idea behind AZDroneFest, was to really promote local talents by also involving international pilots. So we want to show the best in the world, and hopefully that's also an encouragement to the local talent, and for us to help them promote themselves. And so when I saw your work and I saw all that happen, I was like, we're missing something, and I'm going to just give that to myself as the director's choice. I get to pick whoever I want as an encouragement, not as a you've arrived, right? Mm-hmm. But as I see you, I recognize you have talent and you're almost there. And so that's the director's choice. And it's literally my favorite part of the festival.
I have seen every year, and you can see how that is such a favorite part of yours. And that drone was what was holding me back that whole time. I mean, GoPro Karma, and it doesn't have the capability, like, you said, orbit a moving car, perfect circle around a moving car, which is what I did. That drone only had the ability to, you mark the center point and then you fly out how far you want, and it'll orbit that center point. It will not move orbiting anything. So it's cool that you saw that. And for everybody who's watching, this right here is that beautiful award that's backwards. Let me put it this way. There it is. Okay. AZDroneFest Director's Choice 2019. This thing is on my desk all the time. It's a constant reminder of you never know what the heck's gonna happen. Okay. I remember being there at the Drone Fest the first year, and I'm watching the category, the Arizona category, and I was a nervous wreck. I couldn't stop moving. I mean, I don't know if you noticed me in the chair or not, Chris, but I could not sit still. And when another person's name was called, my heart rate was so up there already from everything. I had to walk out of the theater for just a minute just to calm myself down, come back down. It was hilarious. I might as well tell the story for everybody watching. It's just, I'm outside. People that were with me came outside with me. I'm just calming down. And your wife, Julie, comes out and she says, "You need to come back inside." I'm like, "Why?" "Just come back inside." "Just me?" "Yes, you." "Okay." And then at the end, you surprised me with this, which completely blew my mind and totally made my day. And that was like, when I walked up on the stage, I was like, "I'm going to give you a hug."
Yeah. No, I remember watching you in the audience, and then I saw you leave, and I told my wife Julie, I'm like, you got to go get her. You can't let her leave. Like, and so yeah, we send her out there to come and bring you back in. But yeah, that was great. That was a really awesome way. It was our first year of doing the festival, and it was like the perfect Director's Choice Award. It was really, really good.
Well, I'm just happy that I can go ahead and say I got the first Director's Choice Award, the very first one.
That's right.
And it's absolutely wonderful. Now, one thing I do want to mention with the Drone Fest is I've entered lots of film festivals, with my film Cowboy, and even more recently, the music video for In Every Way. And you are the only film festival so far that actually gives people the trophy. A lot of other film festivals out there, I mean, everyone I've actually entered, they want you to buy it. But you're the only festival I've come across so far that actually gives the trophy. And if somebody entered from another country and they win, well, that trophy gets sent out to them. So that's something very special and unique that your festival does, which I think is absolutely amazing and wonderful that you do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because again, I had no idea what I was doing. I still don't. In my mind, it was like, hey, we just need to do a film festival, and never really been to a festival, never looked at, whatever. But to me, the thing that was important was I wanted a festival that was legit. I want films of a certain caliber. And in order for us to do that, we needed to be serious. We needed to reward the winners in a certain way. And by far, the awards and shipping them, especially shipping them, is the most expensive part of us putting those festivals. Like, I mean, we've shipped those awards all over the world. There's one in Australia. All over the world. There's some in England. There's some in Switzerland, Turkey, just Korea. I mean, it's just everywhere. And it's super expensive. Like, we don't charge the winner for the shipping either. So, sometimes it's like, oh, there's one that's here in Colorado. Great. That cost me, $30 to ship it. And sometimes it's $300 to ship this thing. So, but that, to me, that's important. And I've had so many winners send me pictures of their trophies sitting in, their office or in their home around the world, and they say the same thing. They're like, "This is the best thing we get." Like, and to me, that was super important. And I told my board, because they look at the finance and they were like, "You're bleeding money for those awards." And I'm like, "Yep." And that's the price of us having this festival, and that will never change. And I hope it will never change. I will keep going to bat for that, because that makes us legitimate.
It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. I mean, having it is always a constant reminder for me, like I said earlier, it's a constant reminder. And it when I received mine, it was that push forward, because not winning your category, it sucks. I mean, everybody knows that who's enters a film festival, it sucks not to win. And I was just like, oh man, I'm out of my league here. But then, getting this, because you recognized what I was trying to do with very limited equipment, just gave me that push. And I'm sure it's like that with everybody else. I mean, even the recipient of the Director's Choice from last year, That person, I mean, I don't remember the other years, but I do remember last year. That one definitely deserved it. I mean,
Yeah.
hands down, definitely deserved it. And it's just so fun to see the people who didn't win to get something at the end, that one special award. So it's really sweet and it's wonderful. And I love the fact that you do that.
Well, and again, I really want to say that it's not a pity award. It really is me looking at talents that is really close, and for one reason or another, did not make the final winning. But there's something there. There's a talent. There is a creativity. And so it's really an encouragement. That's what it is. So, and yeah, I agree with you. Last year, she did an amazing piece on mental illness using her drone, and it was amazing. The story was great. The quality of the shots were not there, but the story was amazing.
Oh, my
And
apologies.
so it was just an encouragement to her to keep going in that direction. Yeah.
All right. So Little Birdie told me that somebody is nominated for Rocky Mountain Emmy.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my second nomination for Rocky Mountain Emmy Award. I was nominated maybe three years ago. I don't remember, 3, 4 years ago. And then this year got nominated again. The award is on October 1st, I believe. So we're fingers crossed that 2 nomination is the right number to get a win, but we'll see.
He's
So,
gonna win.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you enter a bunch of film festival, and you just never know what it's going to be like. So we'll find
Yeah, but
out.
you're gonna win. I have full faith in you.
I like the
Chris.
positive vibes.
Well, just being nominated for an Emmy. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it's
That's
been great. I mean, it's definitely a great thing. It's been great. It was great a few years ago when I got my first nomination. It was really a bummer to be sitting in, I was that guy sitting in the audience, and you're waiting, and then they call the other guy, and you're just like, hey, congratulations, you little, anyway. So that's what you do.
it was 4 years ago. It had to have been because you told me that when I
Yeah.
first started talking to you for the first Drone Fest. I
Yeah.
remember you saying you were a nominee for an Emmy, and I'm just sitting like, at the time I'm like, wow, I'm talking to a dude that was nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, not to push it down, but it is the Rocky Mountain, so it's a localized chapter, right? It basically it includes Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. That's the chapter that the Rocky Mountain oversees. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, the beauty of the Emmys is it's an award of excellence. Recognized by your peers. So it's other cinematographers voting on a certain level of excellence. They're not competing against each other. So my entry does not compete with the other entry. It's just, are you achieving this level of excellence? So we'll see.
well, it's still an Emmy.
Yeah,
It's still an Emmy.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean, I had to represent today. Of course, it's backwards
Yes.
on here, but AZDroneFest.
I should have done that, and I didn't wear it. So
No, you got this really good lighting in the back of your place there. I mean, mine is just regular light, computer light.
yeah.
No, I had to shut the blinds because the sunlight was just way too much.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you specifically want to talk about?
No, I
Anything?
mean, I think that was great. I just want to encourage people. I think even for me, like the last 2 years, I've been on this binge of learning, and I travel everywhere. Most of my clients are out of state, so I spend a lot of time on planes, and I spent hours and hours the last 2 years listening to podcasts on cinematography, and really, after 18 years in the industry, took another step into my craft, in learning some really critical things. And I just want to encourage people, regardless of where you're at in your career, that you need to continue to learn. And I just can't stop. I keep listening to that podcast. I invested in all new equipment this year, that really elevated my skill set. And so again, don't get comfortable. Don't just sit on your laurel. Keep going, keep learning, because there's always new things.
Well, yeah, because if you got enough tenacity, that's been a thing on my end lately. You got enough tenacity, then and if you have that, you just reach for the stars, man. I mean,
That's right.
keep going no matter what. So do you want to let everybody out there know about when the Drone Fest will be this year?
Yeah, I guess that would be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's still a little bit of window to enter your films. I think deadline to enter your film is September 15th. So you can go to AZDroneFest.com and enter your films. There's, I think, 8 categories this year. So there's a place for everybody. We even created categories for first responders and the industrial folks, the people that do like tower inspections and things like that. Because we feel like that same thing, like there's some place for commercial pilots to be encouraged about keeping the quality of their work up. So anyway, go to AZDroneFest.com. You can enter there. And then the actual festival will be October 22nd. That's a Saturday at Grand Canyon University. We love being there. They give us access to their facility, which is awesome. Yeah, we would love to have everybody come out. It's actually free to come and attend the day where we do all the demos and all that stuff. And then it's $15, I believe, to get the VIP pass, which will give you access to the breakout sessions to listen to some of the speakers that we have. And this year we're going to change the format a little bit. So the film festival itself is going to be integrated with the outside demos that we do. So there won't be an actual end of the day event. It will all happen on the lawn outside throughout the day. So yeah, it should be fun.
Wait a minute. So you're not going to have it in the theater?
No, we're not going to have it in the theater. We're going to have our breakout session in the theater and all that, but I don't think we're going to do the film festival in the theater. And there's some good reasons for that, but I will let that happen on that day. So you guys will need to come and figure this out. But
yeah.
Well, and at the end of the day, like I can say, our goal is to expose our filmmakers as much as possible. And we felt like there's a lot of people that come to the free event and then don't get to watch the film, mostly because it's late. It's a long day, right? We typically start around 9 a.m. and then the film festival used to be around 5 p.m. And so a lot of people left and didn't get to see the filmmakers. And for me, it's all about the filmmakers. And so we want to promote them as much as possible. And so we decided to integrate it throughout the day. And so the demos will pause on the lawn and we'll have the big screen out there and we'll watch the nomination and the winners and then go to the next demo. And then throughout the day, we'll do all the categories that way. So we'll try that format, see how it happens, but I think it's going to be great.
You're going to have shade up, because that's right there in direct sunlight out there.
Yeah, so it looks like we have a different location this time, which should be a lot better. And so I'm hoping we'll have a great little setup for everybody. So it should be good.
Awesome. Okay, well,
yeah,
Chris,
and we have an amazing, very bright screen to watch, so it's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to go ahead and have this cool little chat so everybody can know how absolutely awesome you are and everything that you do.
No, thanks for having me.
All right, this has been great. And everybody check out the link in the description of the video to visit the AZ Drone Fest and OrangeScreen Productions and see how just amazing Chris Tinard really is. All right, see you later, Chris.
Bye. Thank you.